So you're here for my top 5 reasons of why I made the move to Encino, California, because you're thinking about making the move to Los Angeles, and Encino is a neighborhood that maybe you've picked out as a possibility for your new home. Well, in this video, I am going to go over those top 5 reasons why I decided to make the move. Now, I am native to Los Angeles, born and raised in the LA area. I grew up and spent most of my life in the West Los Angeles, the Mar Vista area, but made the move to Encino about 7 years ago. My wife and I thought it was the right decision for us, and we're going to get into the top 5 reasons why we made that decision. Okay, let's get into the number 1 reason why we chose to move to Encino, California, and that was the location. See, for us, it made sense because being in Encino, you're really connected to both the valley life, San Fernando Valley, as well as West Los Angeles, and that was really important for my wife and I when we made the decision to move to a new neighborhood. Now, it was important for my wife to work or to live in the valley because it just cut down on the commute time. Again, we were thinking about starting a family, and we knew if we stayed in the West LA area or other parts of Los Angeles, she'd be on the road way too long, stuck in traffic, and wouldn't really see much of the family during the week. So moving to the valley made sense, and moving to Encino made sense because it just put her about 10 minutes away from her job. And for me, it was still allowing me to be connected to West Los Angeles because I wasn't too deep in the valley. See, Encino is kind of at the southern end of the valley, and it's connected, it's adjacent to the 405 freeway and the 101 freeway, which is really the heart and the artery system of the freeways in the valley in West Los Angeles. So because of the type of work that I had, I needed to commute pretty much throughout Los Angeles. It made sense that I have access to that freeway. And again, being with Encino being so close to West LA, being the southern end of the valley, all I needed to do was just go over the Santa Monica Hills, whether it was the 405 freeway, Sepulveda Boulevard, or through some of the other streets, and I'm already there in West LA. So for career-wise and commute-wise, it made sense for us to choose Encino. Now, aside from being a great location work-wise, it also was a great location entertainment-wise and being close to the things that we like to do. As I mentioned, Encino is right at the southern end of the valley, so getting to our favorite spots in West LA would be a lot easier compared to if we lived in more of the northern part of the valley or even further west like in Woodland Hills. So because we established such a much of our life in West Los Angeles, we wanted to still be connected to family and friends that live there, as well as some of our favorite local spots. That is, of course, until we got used to the valley and we found our new local spots, which means we traveled to West LA a lot less, which was great overall because we're on the freeway less time. Now, what I also like about Encino is that you're really close or along the corridor of Ventura Boulevard, which I'll get to in another section of this video, but it really, that way connects you east-west. I can get to Tarzana, I can get to Sherman Oaks, and I can get to Woodland Hills, I can get over to Studio City, all connected to this east-west artery that runs through the valley. And also, if I wanted to go to parts of like Northridge or Granada Hills, I can just shoot up north really easily from Encino. The whole valley set up like a grid, so getting around is super easy. And so location-wise, it just made sense for us. We felt really connected to the entire valley and still being connected to West LA. As a reminder, I'm Dave Fine with the Real Estate Dads, a licensed real estate agent here in Los Angeles. Love doing videos of what it's like to live, work, and play in LA. So if you're thinking of making the move here, like so many other people have reached out to us, make sure you call, text, email. My team and I have your back when moving to LA. Now, the number 2 reason why we chose Encino, and I just touched on this before, was Ventura Boulevard. The reason why it was important for us to be close to Ventura Boulevard is because that is like the main hub, the main artery that runs through Encino, where you find your shopping districts, entertainment, your restaurants, everything from what you would want and need, your conveniences like your supermarkets, your Rite Aids, your Targets, they're all right there on one street, so it's easy to get to. You don't need to go to different parts of the neighborhood. You don't need to go to different parts of the valley. You can just go to Ventura Boulevard and find everything that you would want. And again, as I mentioned, Ventura Boulevard does connect the other portions of the southern valley, so you can connect to Woodland Hills really easily if I want to go to the Village there for their big outdoor shopping district. I can go to Sherman Oaks if I want some of their gastropubs and some of their artsy feel. And I can go all the way into Studio City and even head in towards the Burbank area. So one of our concerns about moving to Encino was maybe losing some of the entertainment aspect that we had in West Los Angeles and being so close to a lot of restaurants that we enjoyed and shopping districts. Well, Turns out that Ventura Boulevard has all of that, and it's all in one spot. So we hit up Target, go to our favorite pizza place, and then go to our favorite vegan ice cream place. And it's all within like a mile of each other, and it's all within just a couple of miles of where we live. Now, Ventura Boulevard does separate Encino, the Encino neighborhood, because if you go south of Ventura Boulevard, you start getting up into the hills of Encino, part of the back end of the Santa Monica Mountains. And if you're north of Encino, it's more of the flats. What's nice if no matter where you live in Encino, you're just a short commute to Ventura Boulevard. We're talking like 5 minutes, maybe 10 minutes if you're at the top of the hill. But if you're at the top of the hill, then you can also swing over into West LA or the Valley, and you get the best of both worlds. But going back to Ventura Boulevard, it is the place to be, and especially because now I've got a family, it made getting the conveniences super easy. So if I need to get something at the market, I can quickly go to Ventura Boulevard. If I need something at Target, I'm quickly at Ventura Boulevard. If I want to pick up quick bite to eat, Ventura Boulevard. It's all right there. So having your conveniences and entertainment all in one spot is just a pretty cool aspect of Encino, and it's pretty unique to the Los Angeles lifestyle. The number 3 reason why we chose Encino was we wanted more of the suburban lifestyle, and Encino fits that to a T. Now, coming from West LA, we just felt like we were too much in the mix of Los Angeles. It just felt too congested and too crowded. Not to say that the Valley isn't crowded, and Encino definitely has some of its some traffic, but we just felt like we wanted to live in a place where it was mainly residential, single-family homes, and quieter, not as congested, not as parking impacted, and just felt like we can breathe a little bit more and have a little bit more space. And Encino provided that. Whether you're living south of Ventura Boulevard in the hills, you'll definitely get that space and that feeling because you've got larger lots and you've got your neighbors a little bit farther away. Or whether you're living north of the Ventura Boulevard in the flats area, you still feel a sense of that space. I also feel like you're getting a nice community feel when you live in Encino. Basically, there's not a whole lot of tourists coming to Encino or people that are living outside of Encino coming in, maybe for restaurants, some of the shopping. But for the most part, if you're in Encino, you're there because you live there. And that kind of gives you a nice feel where everyone's kind of enjoying the same aspects that the community has to offer. Whether you're seeing similar faces in your neighbors at the local restaurants, the local shops, or the big park like Lake Balboa Park and the rec center there. So people take advantage of the community here, and you do feel that suburban lifestyle. Now, if we want the entertainment, again, we could go to Ventura Boulevard, which is close by, but I'm talking if you want like the bar scene or club scene or just a lot of the big shopping districts and big shopping scenes, then Encino may not be for you, but you can easily drive to those areas. I say easily, a little bit loose, you will hit traffic, but outside of that, you can still get to those areas. And we just wanted that ability to, when it was all said and done and we were done with our day, just to come back to a more quieter neighborhood. And that's what was so appealing to Encino. What also makes this kind of the suburban feel is that people are very neighborly in Encino. Now, I'm not saying that you won't find that in other parts of LA, but for us, in our experience, when we were kind of in the West Los Angeles area, we didn't really feel that neighbors were looking out for each other necessarily. Everyone kind of felt like they were doing their own thing. But when in Encino, neighbors were so friendly. We had walking groups in the neighborhood. There was hiking groups. People would get together at the park. Your neighbors would look after your house if you went on vacation. There's block parties. There's all sorts of community events that people gather around. And again, it goes back to a lot of pride of living in Encino and having people come together as kind of one community. All right, the 4th reason why we loved Encino and why we chose it to be our home was because it was still close to a lot of outdoor recreation. Now, you're not going to get the beach feel and the beach vibe that we had in West Los Angeles, but we became more of hikers and park goers, so that became important to us. And if that is important to you or that's something that you like, then Encino would be a great neighborhood for you. We love Encino in the neighborhood. We chose to live north of Ventura Boulevard in the Flats area and put us, basically our neighborhood is adjacent to Lake Balboa Park. In fact, we had direct access there and we loved it. It's an enormous park system, one of the biggest parks in LA, and it had everything that we were looking for. Walking trails, sports complex for baseball, basketball, football, soccer fields. They had a man-made lake, people fishing there. I don't know if I'd recommend it, but people do. They've got paddle boats, big open space rec areas where people have picnics and throw birthday parties. They've got a playground area, which was important, again, as we were raising a family. And we liked having the access to such a grand park, and because it's right adjacent and connected to Encino, Encino just felt like a good neighborhood for taking advantage of that park system. And we're also avid hikers, and living in Encino gave us an opportunity to live in a neighborhood that was just maybe 10-15 minutes away from some trailheads along the back ridge of the Santa Monica Mountains. In addition to those trailheads that are really close by, we also have access to all the other valley trails that were also fairly close, not a big commute at all, and we didn't have to deal with a lot of traffic getting to some of these hiking trails. Now, if you live in West LA and you want to go hiking, you either have to come to the valley or you have to go along the PCH and hit up the Santa Monica Mountains from the ocean side, which, don't get me wrong, beautiful trails, you get that ocean breeze, but sometimes they're really hard to get to, and they're jam-packed with people, whether they're tourists or just because it's, again, West LA is so congested that it just takes a long time to get to. We're living in Encino, during a lunch break for my wife or for me, if I just want to do something quickly in the morning before work, I could easily get to a trail and quench that thirst for getting out there in the outdoors. Or if it's an evening hike, because the summers here are so pleasant in the evening, we can go for a nice walk along the trails there. So if you're into outdoor recreation, definitely consider Encino as one of your top neighborhoods because you are so close to hiking and a great park system. All right, the fifth reason why we chose Encino is the cost of housing. Now, yes, the cost of housing, when I run these numbers, they're going to be expensive, especially if you're coming from a different part of the country. That's not San Francisco, New York, San Jose, Santa Barbara, Philadelphia. If you're outside of those areas, then you're definitely maybe a little bit of sticker shock. But if you're already living in Los Angeles and you're looking at different areas to consider moving to, then Encino is a lot more affordable than, let's say, West Los Angeles or the South Bay areas. So I'll just give you a brief overview of some of the median housing prices. If you want a little bit more detail, I'd go to my cost of living in the San Fernando Valley video for a little bit more information on the cost of housing, or you can always reach out to us and I'll help you there as well. For overall housing in Encino for single family homes for a 4-bedroom, 4-bath, around 2,800 square feet, you're looking at about a median price of $1.9 million. Now, again, I know this is sticker shock for a lot of people watching this video, but if you compare that to other parts of West LA, South Bay, it is not nearly as expensive. Now, these prices can go all the way up to about $6.5 million over the last 3 months. That was $6.5 million was the highest price point sale on Encino, and it does get higher than that. But now I'm going to show you the difference between living in the hills and living in the flats of Encino, because if you're living in the hills, it's a lot more expensive. But if you're living in the flats like Encino Village, Encino Park, you're going to see the difference. So for a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, about 1,400 square foot home, you're talking about $1.1 million in the flats of Encino. Now, if you compare that to West Los Angeles, the Mar Vista and Culver City area, for that same home is going to run you about 1.7 to 1.8 million, depending on the condition of the home, and it can go up from there. So you can see there's a big price difference between living in the west side and then living in the valley. Now, if you're comparing housing pricing overall in the valley, Encino is going to be kind of on the upper end, basically anything along the Ventura corridor, like Encino, Tarzana, Woodland Hills, and Sherman Oaks and Studio City. Those are going to be more expensive areas than if you're looking a little bit more north, like Northridge, North Hills, Reseda, Winnetka, Canoga Park, even all the way to the northern end in the hills when you're like in Granada Hills and Porter Ranch. Although those homes are in the hills, they're still not as expensive as if you were living in Encino. And a lot of that has to do with going back to location, because so many people want to have that connection to West Los Angeles and Ventura Boulevard. So the closer you live to West LA and Ventura Boulevard, the more expensive it is in general. Okay, I'm going to throw in a little bit of a bonus here, especially if you have family and have kids, you want to stay tuned for this. One of the big reasons why we chose Encino was the elementary schools. Now, living in Los Angeles, LA Unified School District is enormous. It's too big in my opinion. It should be broken up. Now, I'm talking from experience, not as a teacher, but my mom was a teacher for many, many years in the LA system, and it is really poorly managed in many ways, and it's just because of its sheer size. And so finding a really good neighborhood with a good elementary school is tough. Now, we're not even talking about middle school and high school because that's even more of a challenge. But to get that early foundation of early education, we wanted to make sure we found a neighborhood with a great elementary school. And Encino is a neighborhood that has several really good elementary schools, especially when you compare it to overall LA Unified and even other parts of the valley. And so if you are someone that has young kids or thinking about starting a family, and you're considering the San Fernando Valley or just LA in general, I would definitely consider Encino because it is a place where you still affordable when compared to LA prices, and still getting really good elementary schools. So bonus tip there, schools are important. Consider Encino. You can still find really good schools, again, like in Sherman Oaks, Woodland Hills, Studio City. But for us, Encino was the right choice. So these are the top reasons why my wife and I chose to move to Encino. If you're thinking about making the move to LA, the San Fernando Valley, and Encino's on your radar, or anywhere in LA is on your radar, make sure you reach out to my team and I through phone, text, email, and we'll get you back when moving to Los Angeles.